Well, you guys took the team angle for biggest surprises, so I went a different route and went with a player. And this is a positive with the kind of season that he's had, and it's definitely a surprise. But I'm going with Jonathan Drouin of the Colorado Avalanche and the kind of year that he's had. 48 points in 72 games. It's great to see. When he was picked up by the Avalanche, I think a lot of us thought that, okay, well, Drouin's kind of done. He had a rough go in Montreal, and he's going to be a bottom six forward and be in and out of the lineup, maybe down the American Hockey League a little bit and up here and there. That's what I thought, at least. But he's fit in really well in Colorado, and again, all the credit in the world goes to Nathan MacKinnon, not only for the Hart Trophy caliber season that he's having, as we previously discussed on last week's episode 205, but he's always been rooting for Drouin and always been singing his praises and rooting for him and wanting him to do well. So it's just been a perfect fit. I think the weight on Drouin's shoulders, being a Quebec-born guy playing in Montreal, and that pressure, I think, was just absolutely unbearable, and is why we saw the struggles that we saw with Drouin. I mean, this is the first time that he is close to that 50-point mark since 2018-19. He had 53 points in that year with Montreal. So really happy for Drouin. He's obviously had his struggles with his mental health and all of that. So you love a good comeback story, and I mean that kind of ties into a comeback player of the year candidate there, but anyway, it's just a surprise. I did not think it was going to fit this well for Drouin in Colorado, but you love to see it.
Yeah, if I was going to put my money on one of the two connection signings of the offseason, it would have been Connor Brown and not Jonathan Drouin. But it's funny, I listened to our central ranking to kind of get our takes on Minnesota, but I did hear Colorado when we pointed this out. We're like, damn, this would be pretty cool to see Jonathan Drouin be good again, especially playing with his old teammate and getting the best out of him from MacKinnon. And that's exactly what's happened. And it's great to see him scoring goals and seemingly enjoying hockey again. That's the real takeaway from it. And I am surprised he's done phenomenal with 15 goals and 33 assists. I thought that he would be better than what he was with Montreal, but I didn't think it would improve this much.
Yeah, well, just thinking about the time when he was with Montreal, like when they went on that deep run in the 2020 playoffs and made it to the final against Tampa, he only played 10 games of their big run there. Like, there were times that he was out of the lineup voluntarily and involuntarily. So it was on ice and off ice. Things just weren't going well for him. So it's good to see that he's back playing on the top line for a lot of the time with his buddy, Nate MacKinnon, and having a really good season offensively too. Like, just looking at it, like one of the warts of Colorado's team from the beginning of the season was their depth scoring, right? And we weren't sure who exactly was going to fill the void that Nazem Kadri left down the middle. And, now they've got Middlestad or whatever, but like, the depth scoring was clearly a problem for this team. And if you look at just, the guys who have points right now on the team, like it's MacKinnon in first with 127, Rantanen with 100, Makar, Nichushkin, and then in fifth place, just 2 points behind Nichushkin with 48 points is Drouin. So, he really is an important piece of this offensive group, as opposed to just being a guy on the outside looking in, or a guy who has a connection with the star like Connor Brown but isn't producing. Like, he's in the lineup because he's having an incredible year. So Harp, I think that's a great pick. I'm really happy to see it, but also kind of surprised, which is what this episode's all about.
Interesting to see what he does in the playoffs, because, despite being in and out of the lineup with Montreal, he had 7 points in those 10 games, and he's got 21 in 33 games in total in the playoffs. So maybe he turns it on.
Yeah, well, that's why it was so confusing, right? It's like this guy is playing well, but he's out of the line. It was same with Thomas Tatar was another guy who was having a good year that year, but was out of the lineup sometimes. So interesting decisions they made back in 2020. But yeah, man, he's having a great year this year. Couldn't be happier for the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And a team like Colorado who's going forward again, you need those nice little bargain finds, and they certainly got a good one in Jonathan Drouin. So he's been a big surprise this season. All right, well, I think that wraps it up for episode 206, boys. Again, surprises from this season: Minnesota Wild, Pittsburgh Penguins, and Jonathan Drouin of the Colorado Avalanche. So